Finding a corpse in the wilderness is the last appendix of Pahlavi text translated by E.W. West, Part 2, the Dadastani Danique, and the Epistles of Meneskihar, Clareton, Oxford University Press, 1882. The controversy between Meneskihar and his brother Zedsparam, of which the Epistles of Meneskihar are the only portion extant, turned chiefly upon the meaning to be attached to Vendidad, chapter 8, verses 271 to 299, and whether the mode of purification therein detailed was a sufficient substitute, or merely a preparation for the Beresnun ceremony. The following is a translation of the Pahlavi version of this passage. Pahlavi Vendidad 8, 271 to 279, and I will go back and read in the brackets. O Creator, how are those men purified, O righteous Auharmazd, who shall stand by a corpse in a distant place upon a wild spot? And Auharmazd spoke thus, They are purified, O righteous Zarathustra, but when so? If a corpse-eating dog or a corpse-eating bird has attacked that corpse, the man shall then purify over his own body with bull's urine 30 times by washing forwards and 30 times by washing over. Of the topmost part of him is the washing over. If a corpse-eating dog or a corpse-eating bird has not attacked that corpse, he shall purify 15 times by washing forwards and 15 times by washing backwards. He shall run the first mile, Hasar. He shall then run forwards, and when he shall thus stop opposite any one, whomsoever of the material existence, he shall be prepared with a loud issue of words. Thus, I have thus stood close by the body of him who is dead. I am no wisher for it by thought. I am no wisher for it by word. I am no wisher for it by deed. It demands purification for me. When he runs, the first he shall reach. If they do not grant him purification, share 1/3 of that deed of his. He runs the second mile, he runs, and the second time he reaches people. If they do not grant him purification, they share 1/2 of that deed of his. He shall run the 3rd mile. When he runs, the 3rd he shall reach. If they do not grant him purification, share all that deed of his. He shall then run forwards. He shall thus stop opposite some people of the next house, village, tribe, or district, and he shall be prepared with a loud issue of words. Thus, I have thus stood close by the body of him who is dead. I am no wisher for it by thought. I am no wisher for it by word. I am no wisher for it by deed. It demands purification for me. If they do not grant him purification, he shall then purify over his own body with bull's urine and also with water. Thus he shall be thoroughly purified over. And so the first note in verse 273, that is, how will such a one become clean? Verse 276, with bull's urine. Remember, in Eurasian culture, they would pick a so-called clean animal and use its urine and dung for things. And his right hand shall rub over it. Yeah, because sometimes you do need to rub to get things off, or wipe or whatever. Verse 277, that is the washing of his head, is that regarding which there is a mention through this study causing hushkar exclamation. The verse 279, and his hand shall rub over it. Verse 281, when the pankadasa 15 times shall be performed by him. Verse 283, that is, it is not possible for me to be as though washed. Verse 284, that is, wash me thoroughly. Verse 286, that is, of all that sin not possible for him to bear, except when they shall perform his purification. 1 part in 3 is theirs at its origin. Now, I don't like the word sin in regards to what is either not of a moral implication, or that which is beyond choice. So, it's a choice what you believe about something, it's a choice what you do about something, but it's not a sin that you've had a feeling or a desire or some thought has passed through your head as a possibility. 287, while he runs for it. Verse 290, that is, of all that sin not possible for him to bear, except when they shall perform his purification, as it were, a half is even for them at its origin. We're not burdened beyond what we can bear, and that means that, sometimes you do your best and all that. 291, while he runs for it. 293, that is, all that sin which it is not possible for him to bear except when they shall perform his purification, is ever theirs at its origin. Yeah, it's important sometimes to involve the community. In 297, but I don't think that people need to see you naked or interact with your naked body as part of your purification, but this is what this tradition has, right? 297, that is, it is not possible to bear without washing. Oh, and if the community doesn't do their duty, well, then, they're going to be at blame too, right? And 298, that is, wash me thoroughly. And here we have in brackets A and B, he shall go 3 miles. It is not allowable to walk back to his district until he has fully striven with 3 persons, and all that sin not possible for him to bear, except when they shall perform his purification, is theirs at its origin. When, thus thoroughly washed by himself, his duty even then is the work fracere naod vostre varesio id, he should accomplish with perseverance, he should cultivate in the pastures. There are some who would say thus, he is always for the performance of work, and abstinence from the ceremonies of others is for him. Now, not being able to take part in public ceremonies is an important reason to generally avoid some stuff aside from, what's beyond one's control or what needs to be done, that sort of stuff. But in that case, it wouldn't be required.